Welcome back, Bannock folks. You're tuned in to another football pick of the week. Now, the beginning of this week started off with a rocky upset. The Super Bowl champions of last season, the Kansas City Chiefs, lost to the Detroit Lions. It was unbelievable. What did you think about it? Oh, this is Bannock. Sorry, hold on. Okay. Sorry, I thought we were doing football reviews this week.
That's the other Tyler you do a podcast with. All right, gang. So let's pop into the local releases. I feel like it's been so long since we talked about them.
I know, eh? And like it's only been a couple weeks. It's crazy how much content is being put out. So many of you are putting out songs, and by no means is that a complaint on our behalf. It just means that we need to do more work and listen to more of this. And you know what? We got a great docket for you this week. Lots of hardcore. Lots of hardcore.
I liked this docket.
Yeah, the Ontario hardcore scene is like, it's growing like ridiculously on a bi-weekly basis. It's unbelievable.
All right, so the first up on the docket, we have My Promise, When Love Is Not Enough. This is an EP coming from them. Do you know where these guys are from?
North Bay.
North Bay Metalcore. It says it right there. I missed it. All right. So this is like that. This is that throwback stuff I like. This was giving me like a Atreyu, early Haste the Day. Once you hear that like sort of like ethereal opening and then like the feedback washes in, you're like, oh, okay, I think I know where this is going. And then it hits that movie clip. Okay, we're going back to like top eights and studded wristbands. This is I've been bringing them up a lot on the show and I love them, but this is like the vocal arrangements give me like From Autumn to Ashes, Funeral for a Friend. But the guitars are so like architectsy and harmony driven. Is that when they both play the different the harmonies? But I find like it almost has like a Breaking Benjamin like rock vibe to it too. This was super cool. What'd you think?
It's funny that you got that Breaking Benjamin vibe, and I think we can owe it to bands like Nothing Nowhere, who are kind of making like metalcore a little bit more accessible, and Beartooth, like, and Papa Roach kind of making this like, I don't know, it's really we're hitting this airwave where like metalcore is becoming a palatable thing for most people. And yeah, this band was super cool. It reminds me of that era where like screamo and metalcore bands just lived happily. Like it was when we didn't have all these buzzwords as genres. Screamo, I think screamo was a word that we all kind of used, but like I didn't hear metalcore until the late 2000s. So like that's what this kind of reminds me of. A 14-year-old me would love to see this band live. Early A Day to Remember vibes, like the first record. I forget what that one's called. This band could easily exist in that era for sure.
Yeah, I really like how much like revisionist like MySpace core is coming out. And these guys like just wear it right on their Nightmare Before Christmas sleeves.
Next up, we have Toronto Twinkly Screamo, Treehouse of Horror, with What Good Does Getting Angry Do? The third part of the split.
We finally got to the third part. Man, this is how you keep people compelled, Phil.
For sure. Before we get into it, sorry that it took us this long to realize that it was a 3-band split.
Very confusing for us.
We loved it though. Don't get us wrong. This reminded me a lot of like Fall of Troy, which I'm gonna give you credit for. Actually, I vividly remember you sending me home with like a stack of CDs, and Fall of Troy Doppelgangers was one of those. And so I owe it to you for introing that band to me. There's a great 3-piece. If you've never listened to that band, please do. Very technical, clean guitars, but with like the sporadic drum beats, like mathcore, but it's still like catchy. The singing is all really done really well. I love this.
It's funny that you mentioned the Fall of Troy, because I immediately just was like, oh wow, this is the number 12 looks like you. Like,
Cool.
I was just getting that what's a good word for it? Like, just like totally chaotic, like sporadic.
We called it grindcore, but that definitely what it wasn't. What it was.
No, it was like
you know what I mean.
Number 12 was doing some like jazz infusion stuff too. They play those like
Yeah.
weird jazz. That was like a big thing back then, was to have like the 10-second jazz part in your song and
Sassy
stuff.
core.
Yeah, it's hard. Them and Blood Brothers, it's really hard to like define exactly what that was. It feels to me again in that sort of my spacecore vein. But yeah, I love the name Treehouse of Horror, obviously. That's instantly recognizable. It's nice to get to the third part of this finally. And we constantly sing the praises of modern day polish and like modern day like production. But there's something about modern day production that also homogenizes the sounds a lot. You know what I mean? Bands start to sound the same when everyone's using the same digitalized amp and the same drum kit from Get Good Drums or whatever, and it's, you know what I mean, everyone's using the same compressor, and like you create a homogenization. But when you do a recording like this, like, it makes like the personality shine through. Like, this recording is what this band would sound like live. It would just sound louder. And I really like when a band can pull that off, like, because not every band can, you know, pull off the way they sound recorded live. And with this band, they just put it right there on the table. Like, this is music created for like artsy hipsters, and they were creating it for like-minded people. This is music made by people who love this type of music.
Mm-hmm.
So next up we have Control, I'm assuming, CNTRL. We are reviewing their newest single, Total Death. This just reminded me of Children of Bodom right away. This makes me want to triple corpse hammer blow someone's face off.
Yeah, no, it was very spooky.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, the synths at the beginning are very like John Carpenter-y, like Halloween. Like, I really enjoyed it. Yeah, and this song like is flying through the BPM. Like, it's like it gotta be like 320 BPM or something insane. Like, it's like Rings of Saturn level speed gets hit, like when the lead and kick are happening at the same time. Yeah, it's multifaceted. It's cool techie Bodom-y track. I loved Children of Bodom growing up, so
getting an idea that a guitarist wrote the drums, because the kicks are spammed, and like, that's not a bad thing. I'm just saying, like, you could tell that like someone who's a drummer might not write that, because they're the most consistent kicks I've heard in a minute. I would feel terrible for this drummer to see them live, because he's just going to be doing this the entire time. It's a great track, don't get me wrong. I'm not trying to knock it down. I'm just saying there's a lot of, like you said, like this is the song that Sonic is listening to when he's running to. That's what's going on here. That chuggy metal anthem esque to it, like fans of like, you know, All That Remains and like In Flames should be and like deathcore in general would like this track. Yeah,
shreddy, techie, good stuff. Ooh, you're enjoying these boys. Ooh, I like this. Ooh.
Next up, we have Big Rig with their demo 2023. This was an EP. This was big, thick as blood vibes. I don't know if that's a big reference these days. That might be like showing our age. If you have never listened to that band, please do.
We bring them up a lot.
Yeah. Tough, heavy, no beating around the bush. This is just like chuggy riffs with like deep baritone growls, like, you know, kind of like how Zabulba mixes that heavy hardcoreness. Very moshy. I would personally stay out of this mosh pit if I saw them live. I would go nowhere near it. I love a band that's self-aware with a demo, just like with every track title, just 1, 2, 3. It flowed very seamlessly. I only happened to notice one song changed.
This it reminded me so much of that like first Betrayal EP with like Time Is Money, where it's just like, it's just mosh riffs. Like, that's that like baritone growl you're talking about, which is I think what immediately gives you that Thick as Blood feeling, because it felt unique in Thick as Blood how growly his delivery was on it. Reminds me of Recon, American Me, Black My Heart. It's just like chug riffs, and then like like it's like chuggy hardcore riffs, but then they cap them off with these like little metal like quick to like move into the next riff really well. It's like full of dive bombs. This is like straight up skull walking music. Like this is like this is just pit music. This is made for the pit by the pit.
Next up, we have the Hamilton metalcore outfit End Us with their brand new single Royal Decay. This band just continues to literally just offer up like home runs out of the park with banger after banger. Being a brand new band, this band just came out in the spring of this year. This is their 4th single. They've only got 4 songs out. They're extreme metalcore with like reoccurring leads. This is what I imagine what Insane would sound like if you were going crazy.
The dissonant riffs.
Yeah. It's well produced. I love those murder cores being utilized to its full potential in that middle breakdown and again near the end there. I also really like the romantic, like biblical style of artwork. It comes up once in a while. It's kind of a common theme sometimes in metalcore, but it just looks so damn cool.
Mm-hmm. No, it's such a fitting thing, especially when you start to like really pay attention to like End Us is like lyrics so pessimistic. Like it's like it has its hand in like the acacia strain cookie jar, but it's like it feels faster and like it feels like less predictable. It's like I feel like this type of metalcore is just like rare these days. I feel like there's such a lean into like the Deftones core sort of thing and the Linkin Park core sort of thing, and I like you called it like extreme metalcore, and I think that's like so fitting. Like it's like just like totally heavy. Like there is barely any, like it's melodic, but it's like there's not like they don't stop to hit you with like the clean singing chorus. It's just like a pessimistic like fuck the world anthem. Like it fits the like Caravaggio style artwork that might be Caravaggio. I like again like the like old like evil seeming religious oil paintings. Like I really like that shit. Like I took like a like history of art class in college, and I remember just like the only thing I took from it was how much I loved like religious oil paintings. Like they're really really good. It's just everything is concise. They don't fuck around, and they're just hitting you with riff after riff. If it's not a breakdown, it's a circle pit. If it's not a circle pit, it's a 2-step part. If it's not a 2-step part, it's a slam part. Like it's everything is just a constant sonic assault with these guys, and every song has been like this so far. Like they're just like, it seems like they really like the way a band would write an EP, they harness that writing focus into one track at a time. Yeah. And it's really paying off. Speaking of harnessing your writing concisely into tracks, the boys in Ascension Blacklist put out a new track. It is called Luminescent. This is a very ambitious track from them. I find this really interesting. It's like a pummeling track, but it has like an ethereal feeling to it. It's like crushing, but it's like shimmery too. I noticed that like what they're doing that makes this song so interesting to me is that the whole flow of the song is super heavy, but the beginning and end of every riff is capped off with that lead, and it just makes everything feel like it feels like chaos, like heavy chaos trapped in like a beautiful jewelry box. Their songs have sounded so different from each other, each one. Yeah. And the vocals on this, it sounds like the singer's having his head ripped off at times. You know, in like The Walking Dead, where someone will get like their head and they make that like it get higher and higher. Like like his vocal range is insane. He's got to be careful with it though.
Yeah. This band is showing more of a genty side with this song, with like the off timing patterns and chug riffs, very Meshuggah inspired. It's giving me like early volumes where like it was still kind of I don't know. He's still offering that like there's some sort of like rap style to it. I don't know what it is.
It's flowy.
It said it in the first song. Yeah, it's flowy. That like you mentioned, that lead, that haunting lead that's constantly being played. It's like like you said, these vocals are insane. They could peel paint. I hope my boy here has done his watched his fair share of Zen of Screaming with Melissa Cross, because you're gonna damage your vocals, boy, if you don't. But it sounds great. It's really good. It's a good tune.
Yeah, no, nothing but bangers from them. Okay, I love these guys, but I'm gonna let you intro them because these are your boys.
Oh hell yes. This is one of my favorite hardcore acts from the Ontario hardcore scene
Mhm.
right now. Vegan straight edge, freight train, street sharks coming at you. That's what I'm calling them. This is Street Justice coming in hot and fast with their latest release, No Kings, No Cages. In No Cages, Mike has this like spiel just before the breakdown that kind of sounds like something that you would hear Serge Tankian do in like the prison song.
100%.
Really, it was super cool, and it's like political. It's like it offers insight. This EP is fun and like fast and aggressive, and it doesn't come off as preachy. I know some of that stuff can, if you weren't paying attention to really anything, maybe you didn't. I mean, Street Justice and like No Kings, No Cages kind of already hints towards that they're a straight edge vegan band. But if you weren't paying attention with any of that contextualized, you would just think that this is just like an angry, pissed off hardcore band. And that's what I like, because like you go, oh, this is sick. And then once you start, diving into a band like this, you start learning like how important some of these songs are and how lyrics are. So yeah, I love it. Not preachy. Just a great reminder why we should be a little bit more thoughtful about our diet, because it's not just about how it feels, about how it tastes. There's a whole list of characters that come into play when it comes into the meat industry. So this is a great reminder.
Yeah, it's I love, again, I've said it before, I like when my punk music's political. Sue me. Mike, to me, is one of the most convincing vocalists, not in Ontario, Phil, like in hardcore, like period. Like he sounds so truly fucking pissed off, and I think that's why it doesn't come across as preachy, because the conviction. I love that the first song, No Kings, is like an anti-capitalist anthem. That is like totally my shit. This is the type of shit that makes you want to be a better person. You know what I mean? And you know what I've realized about this band? It clicked, it went in my head, and I realized why I like this so much. This sounds like Your Demise if they never went pop punk.
Oh,
this sounds exactly like Ignorance is Bliss era Your Demise. And that, it is so, like, okay, I like the Golden Age. I think it's a banger of an album. But Ignorance Never Dies is like big recommend on, here's a recommend. I don't know what to tell you guys. That's a recommend right now. On screen. Beep, beep, beep. Ignorance Never Dies is like one of my favorite hardcore records of all time. Of all time. And I actually made it. And this just reminds me so much of Your Demise. Just big two steps, big old whirling circle pits. This band is just a total brick to the face. Shingen have the Rot EP and the Blight EP. As of the recording of Over It, I told you that the Blight EP was gone. And then a few days later, it was back. And I was like, oh, I should probably let Phil know. And then I went back today, at the day of recording, and it was gone again. So I don't know what's going on with that. But I was able to do a deep dive into Rot, at least. And this is like doom and gloom. This is when sludge and doom metal doesn't sound like evil, but it sounds like miserable. You know what I mean? It sounds upset. It sounds sullen. And there's like a real like lo-fi sort of vibe to the whole thing, despite feeling, it feels like compressed heaviness. Like it's like something like waiting to burst. Super atmospheric, probably a total vibe live. Like cool, super cool.
Yeah, this is like abysmal sludge. Like this is, I managed to, it's funny when I saw this on our docket, I got to listen to both EPs. I think Rot has a couple songs that was later put on the Blight EP, but I recently, it's not on Apple Music anymore. So again, I don't know what's going on with that, but I did get to listen to it. It kind of reminded me of like Full of Hell, but like the way that Full of Hell captures that like scariness, I guess it's for lack of a better word, but like turned into like a sludge band. It's like it immerses you in a scary place where you can imagine like everything is pitch black and like you feel like heavy black and gray grain over the screen. Like it's almost like being in a survival game. It's like being in Slenderman. This is what I imagine like what the Slenderman soundtrack should sound like.
Yeah, no, I agree with you. It feels like old lost like Blair Witch found footage. Like this would be the theme to that.
Yeah.
So I'm excited to announce this one because like this is like actually probably one of my favorite bands in Ontario right now, without a question. The Boys, I think they're The Boys. We don't know them yet. I'd like to talk to them. Maybe you know them. I'm just talking right now. Pneumonia Breath released their EP, Nothing Forever. This is crazy. This is a crazy EP. The polish on these mixes is, I cannot it cannot be understated. The songwriting's perfect. It's concise. This is super duper moshable. This is like, okay. And I've been talking to you about this so much. The first song, Weeping Wound, it just gives you that same energy that Acacia Strain gives you. Even Every Time I Die gives you on that first song too, where you're just like, ooh, the first one's gonna be really good. And boy, is the first one really good. It just rises and rises for that first minute. And then you even get the like big mosh call to set everything off. Like, everything is calculated. Like, I'm shocked at like how good the writing is by these guys. Like, every single song, the transition from I Abhor the Thought of You into Broken Foundation is seamless. I still can't picture when that song changes. It's so good. I Abhor the Thought of You is absolutely crazy. The two-step riff in that is just absolutely absurd. Like, the vocals are so jaded and angry. It's just doomy. It's slammy. It is covered in murder riffs. Holy shit. The interlude on there where they have like the mental ward patient talking. It's, again, Acacia Strain was always so good at picking really haunting audio to use. And that, again, it's so uncomfortable to listen to. Like, we've already talked about his Existence is Pain. It bangs. And then that last song isn't a big, ambitious song.
Yeah,
it's
it was my favorite track.
The solo.
It was good. Groovy. It gets to this climax where like it was just so heavy and like, that was my favorite track. Aware, I think.
Yeah, I can't believe this band.
Yeah, someone is well versed in drums in this band. You can tell, because I'm guessing those are real drums being played. But, hey, I've been wrong before. No, this was a really cool EP. It's hard for me to like. Heavy metalcore doesn't really quite describe what this is. This is kind of in the same vein as like Teeth, where it's just like disgusting, evil, heavy, fast, but like it's not even in the realm of deathcore, because it's not like debris heavy. I don't feel like they're spamming zeros, like, you know what I mean? Like, this is all very like there's a lot for everybody on this EP, but it's all woven together, so you know that it's the same band, and that's what I really liked about it.
Yeah, and I think that we can comfortably name this new genre of just crazy mosh-centric metalcore New Mosh. I'm putting that out there. I say we call it New Mosh and You Mosh. It's on screen, so we contextualize it for you dumbass. I'm kidding. You such a smart person for watching the podcast. And but I've been thinking about New Mosh for a while, and I think Endus, Pneumonia Breath, like that's what these bands are. This isn't metalcore anymore. This is something beyond that. Oh God, so good. It was so good. I really like. Oh my God! And guess what? I really like the next one, Phil. Why don't you introduce it?
Yeah. Well, we've got 100% Pure with their demo 2023. It's exactly what the name is. They're 100% pure hardcore, Trapped Under Ice vibes, more specifically Big Kiss Goodnight era, very moshy. I've seen their live videos, like it goes off. There's lots of energy. I'm getting even like Bad Seed vibes, at times.
I didn't think about that.
Yeah, it just seems like a band full of people who are passionate about hardcore, and it sounds like they're having just as much fun playing it. The flow of vocals are super cool, and they just sound like they would be fun to play with live.
Yeah, no, you know that Mike, when he's done, is just covered in spit. That is that is a wet vocalist. Like quick and dirty hardcore. The whole mix feels like early Power Violence, crunchy, fuzzy, slammy. And even though a lot of the songs were like very straightforward hardcore, which is like my shit, I really like the song No Color. It sounds like you're trapped in like a whirlpool of feedback and fuzz and like, oh my God, yeah, this is like absolute no filler. This ain't no hardcore from Concentrate. This is hardcore, and they just went and picked it right off the vine. Like, this is 100% pure. It's a perfect name for what this is. Hell yeah, brother. Shut Away have put out 2 songs, What Now and Cruel World. God, they both slap. This is my shit. This hits all the notes I like. The first song, What Now, they play the riff but slower, and my God, it pays off so well. I like the vocals. I like how clear the vocalist is. Real mic grabby shit, you know what I mean? Like, everyone knows the lyrics the first time you hear it. it's those lyrics that are about like the world fucking sucks, but at least we all have each other, like classic terror shit.
This was super cool. Shut Away. Love the artwork for the CP. It's like the gorilla, like Reaper, like old school traditional looking
stuff.
dude. It's great. What I really liked about this release was the vocals. They're not harsh. They're similar to like Brendan from like Wildside. They're like kind of clean. They're just the right pitch for like a yell. They're borderline new metal vocals almost. Like if you would have different instrumentals completely, they would fit. Yeah. But like it's like the band Salvia, or Saliva, sorry. With like
Salvia
2 steps.
Salvia.
Traditional hardcore though. No bells, no whistles.
100%, yeah. And that's a lot like the release we got right after this, Offside.
Yeah, the next step we had was Offside, Back to the Streets. Lots of hardcore this week. I love it. This 12-minute EP came in hot, titled Back into the Streets. Offside offers a lot with the growl vocals, really characterizes this release for me, almost borderlining on like punk. Like that's how we're getting to like, I don't know, like for fans of like H2O and like Blood for Blood, like that kind of like street, like youth crew kind of style, like really like it's hard for me to describe those. They're almost like those baritone punk vocals, so like you could hear them in a punk band as well. Yeah, no, there's lots of stage dives and high fives, I imagine, with this band live.
Yeah, this is some real goon shit. This is some shit that when I put it on, I want to be wearing like a toque and a hoodie and like eyeing people up and down, and this makes me feel like a real ass goon. Like it's punk hardcore guitar, like it's such a nice mix. It's like that street style. It has just an absolute like hardcore like snarling tone to it. The bass on this, and actually even the last release we just talked about, Shut Away, like the bass strings sound like they're 10 feet thick. Like they're just like so thick and present. I love the way bass is getting mixed now. Like people have really figured out what to do with the bass, and it just sounds so good. Drums are super tight and splashy. The blunt, like performance-centric lyrics, again, real mic-grabbing shit where like you want to grab the mic for like the tough guy part. This is music to be maimed by a Rottweiler too. Like it's just absolute crazy, violent, intimidating, street. Like, yeah, this is another one of those bands that like this just feels hip-hop to me in a way I can't explain. Just real goon shit, like. All right, folks. Next up, we have techie, deathy, tech death band, Cryophilic, with their LP Damned and Decayed. This is the type of music that makes you want to grow your hair to your ass and spend $5,000 on equipment, and you spend all day talking about pentatonic scales and Mesa cabs. What'd you think?
The Steel City Lords, Ice Lords. I'm calling them the Ice Lords because I think that's what cryogenics
insert is. Mr. Freeze from the Batman, the Arnold Schwarzenegger one.
All right, everyone, chill.
This is their second release on CDN Records, entitled Damn and Decay. This brought me back to like an old school version of deathcore. You would I think you could easily call a lot of this tech death, but like as the album more unfolded, I couldn't help but think of more like older deathcore bands like As Blood Runs Black and like Knights of the Abyss, and even like early Bring Me the Horizon was like coming to mind when I was listening to the record. I think there was a lot of double kick, and I think that it's pretty consistent with the genre. I could have done with a little bit less of it, but other than that, this record was super good. Kurt Overing, really cool, like pentatonic scales. We did the reaction to it, and I love how clean the bass cuts through this record. This was great. No, I loved how great this turned out.
No, I completely agree. This was an interesting one. Why don't you introduce the folks to this next one?
This is Falls for the Elderly with their single.
Great name, by the way. Can we just talk about how funny that is? Falls for the Elderly. You old ass down.
And with their single Suicide. This was a cool track. It reminded me of like when post-hardcore emerged on the scene again, like when we were talking about it, but it still has like a 90s shoegaze band feel. with like screams involved. It kind of reminded me of like Alexis on Fire. Like this song could be like an old Watch Out B side Alexis on Fire. Only the like you'd have to take those vocals out, like George and Dallas out completely, and then you have two different people. That's what this band sounds like, and it was giving me those vibes. And I think it's on, like, I think it's on par with old school Alexis on Fire, and I think that's a compliment. I think that's the kids are going for these days. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, this is more like MySpace core. Today's been a great day for MySpace core and hardcore. Yeah, it's like a little gazy, it's a little scramsy, but like the vocal delivery, especially on the cleans, is really like sullen and melodramatic. Like I get Dallas's too, but this is a different deliverance. It's a lot more subdued. And then those like screams are just so punchy.
Oh yeah, here comes Kool-Aid.
And like barky, like, and then all the noodling over like I like clean noodling over like really overdriven guitars. This is really good. It's catchy, despite feeling like super unpredictable, sort of the way Alexis on Fire was too. Like the first time you listen to Watch Out, like it's hard to even remember doing that, but like it's the type of record where I can imagine the first time you hear that, like it's really hard to predict what anything's going to sound like on a minute by minute basis. And this does that too. Like it's super cool stuff. And these guys also have an EP out if you want a little more meat on that bone. So
next up we have Toronto hard metal band Cancer Bats with their release of Bat Sabbath 2. Now here on Banecdotes, we typically, there's a common saying we love to say, and it's a rising tide floats all boats, and we typically love to gas everybody up, and that's what the show is about. We love to give everybody their flowers, and we typically don't like to say anything negative, and if there is anything like we don't like to shine a light on that. That's not really what the show is about. However, honestly, I hated this release. I thought this was this was not the Bat Sabbath that I felt like I knew and saw them play like years ago. It bummed me out a lot. I had such a special connection with Bat Sabbath. Years ago, they scheduled a free show at Sneaky D's, and me and a bunch of guys piled into a car and drove to Toronto to go see this band. And I think Diener from Fubar was DJing that night. There was all sorts of things happening that night, so it made it really pop. Like it was a busy night. So we show up to a Sneaky D's. We had just driven like an hour and something, and there's this line right down the street, and we're like, okay, like the show has started, we'll get in. Turns out this is just the line to get in because the place is at capacity, and like as people are filtering out through even like the restaurant throughout the night, they're slowly letting people in, which is like a huge bummer because like I said, we just drove like something to get out there, and we had like a Detroit Rock City moment where just before they were about to play, like the bouncer like literally unclipped the velvet rope and said like, "Have a good night, boys," and like we were running up the stairs, and it felt like we were in slow motion, and Scott was up there playing the Children of the Grave riff, and like it was this magical night for us. We had such a blast, and that was my relationship with Bat Sabbath, and something about that didn't translate to this EP. There was like, I don't know, it didn't sound right. Liam, I normally love Liam's vocals. I just didn't think it suited these. Like, I don't know what it was. I've seen them play, and maybe it's just a live thing for me for this band. But having them recorded, because I know they've done the EP before. Personally, I don't even know if I've ever listened to that one. This was weird, and I have a special, like I'm friends with Scott, and he's like a friend of the podcast, so I just thought it was weird, but that's how I felt about this EP. I don't know. What did you think about it?
I agree. The vocal delivery for me was the main problem. I hate saying that. But yeah, it just, I don't know. Like, I feel like Leah, I feel like I would have liked this a lot if it just felt like it had some like some gusto and some kick to it. Like I just felt like he was like talking almost, and like don't even get me started on the interludes. Like I really don't like the banter stuff. Really didn't work for me. Like I guess in a live setting it could be cool. Maybe was recorded. It might be a floor recording from a show. I don't know. It doesn't. I don't know. I didn't listen to it more than once. But I just feel like Liam, like, for example, like, we just reviewed Monk. We just talked to Frank from Monk, actually. Stay tuned. And Liam guest vocaled on that EP, and he ripped it to shreds. He sounded ferocious. Like, I don't understand what happened with his vocal delivery here, I guess. And I mean, like, do what you want to do. Maybe that's not what he's going for, but I just feel like if you, like added some thickness to these songs and delivered it in a Hail Destroyer era like tone, like this could have been really, really cool. And I feel like I don't understand who this was made for. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, it's cool. I really like the album artwork for it. I really like the merch with it. I think, like, the dudes in Cancer Bats probably in general are, like, they seem like cool guys.
They are
like,
good people.
Yeah, and Hail Destroyer is one of my favorite records of all time. So, yeah.
We got to recognize that, but, you know, real got to recognize real. This just wasn't our cup of tea.
Yeah, no. But whatever. Now let's give some love to someone we forgot to give some love to. So right as me and Phil came together, writing fanfic as we came together. Right as me and Phil started doing this together, back in January, Chubb put out their album Punk Monk. Mm-hmm. And I thought it was super cool when I heard it. Phil thought it was super cool when he heard it. And we just sort of got lost in the shuffle. And then it kind of dawned on us as we were getting ready to do the Over It episode that you guys obviously watched. We didn't talk about Chubb ever. Like, we just never brought them up for some reason. We never gave them their flowers. So guess what? We're going to do that now. Mm-hmm. I love this. It's like weird lo-fi punk. Has a crazy cohesion to the whole thing that I'll get into a little bit. Like, first and foremost, I want to say that, like, Jake, like, on some songs sounds like the singer of, like, Refused. On some songs, he sounds like a drunken British person. Like, he had, like, there's a lot of vocals going on here. Sometimes he does it in the same song. And, like, people know the classics. People know Shrek 2. People know Not So Pro Skater and, like, Holy Face. And, like, those are great songs. But, like, man, like, Leaving My Head in the Microwave, Mallory, Bud Light Queen, like, This Man Ate My Son. Like, these are, like, really cool songs. And the thing that I really like about this album, and the thing I noticed while I was listening to it, like, I go out for, like, jogs now while I listen to a lot of this music. So you're driving, I'm running. And I just kept thinking about how much this reminded me of South Park and, like, early animations, in the sense that, like, when characters in South Park would just go from, like, strange scenario to strange scenario, and there didn't have to be cohesion. Like people could die at the end of episodes. Like, like, Chubb seems to operate in their own set of rules when you're listening to them. Like, it doesn't feel like it feels like it shouldn't feel as cohesive as it does. It's like it's like a Saturday morning cartoon of lo-fi punk.
This band is just a bunch of friends having fun. It's like if you took Animaniacs and the Chats and they had a baby, it'd be a chubby baby, that's for sure. Punk driven fuzz rock with a carefree attitude. Jake's delivers, like, unhinged vocals while keeping it entertaining. Quick songs, keeping it nice and simple. Like, Chubb is not a force to be reckoned with. They're, like, super energetic live. I could see them playing. Have you ever heard of the band called Dune Rats? They're very, like, similar in that sense. Like, this Australian kind of, like, punk rock kind of, like, they'd fit right on deck with them. Like, no problem. DZ Death Rays, all those cool bands.
Yeah, they feel like a band that could have, like, a Flight of the Conchords-esque show.
Yes, yeah.
But the music's kind of good. You know what I mean? It's like if you made, like, a zany live-action show about, like, a punk band. Like, I don't know. It captures this cartoonish energy in a way that I just, like, appreciate a lot. Like, I love a reverence like that.
Yo Gabba Gabba Core.
Yeah, 100%. That is some Yo Gabba Gabba. It's like Tim and Eric Awesome Show the musical. Like, it's really, really good. And, like, again, like, not that it's comedy music, like, it's just, but it's just so good at being irreverent. God, Phil, holy fucking shit, holy fucking fuck, that EP of yours is absurd. Mindswell have released their Hands of Fire EP, and my god, this is so heavy. It's so well mixed. It's so evil. It has that like grinding gear Will Putney style tone that I love. It's covered in like harmonic pick scrapes, like a lot like what like we get from like Teeth and stuff like that. But like it feels like grander in its delivery, a little less dirty and a little more like world endy continent Acacia strain sort of stuff. Really reminds me of like Molotov Solution, especially like the political aspect of being such a heavy deathcore-y band too. And this reminded me a lot of the band Impending Doom.
Ooh,
a lot. Like, yeah, Impending Doom slaps. And this band, like, I'm telling you, like, there's so much. I'm hearing Impending Doom all over it. It's just like in your face, chuggy, dissonant. This is a certified pit classic.
Damn, son,
this
where'd
is
you
like
find this?
big pit shit.
Yeah, you really don't hear that kind of deathcore anymore. It's not even like there was that like era, very small era, and like Molotov Solution and Impending Doom were both like they were doing like djenty stuff before djent was like even established. Like
More Than Conquerors?
Yeah, More Than Conquerors. Like early Born of Osiris, where like this deathcore era lived in a very small fraction time, and like it was almost done and over with. That's what I really liked about this EP, Mindswell, is like they're capturing that era, which I think is an important part of that music history, something we all kind of grew together with at the same time, like the style that they do. And having bands like Mindswell kind of mix that deathcore element into it, that's just what you love to hear.
Yeah, and it's just a fun genre of music too. That's the thing. Like that was the thing about like the Emirs and the Acacias and the Molotovs and the Impending Dooms. Like it was just fun. It was just like bounce riffs and then breakdowns and then two steps and then bounce riffs just cycled. Like it's just written for the love of the game. You know what I mean? Like I love just like heavy centric mosh shit like this. In Mindswell, this turned out so good. It's so heavy.
So next up, I've learned since we covered Telepathic Love that they have a new song out called Cool Wave. I've learned since that Ross Miller, who's played in Single Mothers and Ex Dirty Nil, is the one of the main writers behind Telepathic Love. He also plays in the Stoves.
Oh.
He is spinning so many plates here. He also plays in Sideman. I don't know if you've ever heard Sideman. It's just him and his best friend. I'll definitely get you to jam them after. But what was funny last time we were covering Telepathic Love, you were like the guitar has no business being as heavy as it is, and like you're absolutely right. And you actually referenced, you're like, it's kind of like Dirty Nil, which is funny because Ross was in Dirty Nil like during the So like this is all
that's why we do it, folks.
Full circle here on the show. And again, the guitar tone is heavy, chunky. This band seems to bring the like head bobbiness to like those shoegaze parts in song, kind of like on its separate thing. And that's what's really cool about Telepathic Love. Just keeping it at like a cool 2 minutes.
Yeah, again, like bright synth soaked hives influence scatterpunk. Like it's like super sick. I really like what they're doing. I can't wait I want a full length from them just so I can like listen to like 30 minutes of this at a time. Hearing that someone who's involved in Dirty Nil is or was involved in Dirty Nil is doing this, that contextualizes the guitars quite a bit, because Dirty Nil's the other band where I'm just like, why, like, what the fuck is this? It's like I'm like indie rock with Metallica riffs, basically. Like it's just super sick. Yeah. And yeah, Telepathic Love, you can feel that sweet like heavy punk riff kiss in it. You know what I mean? Just a little right on top of the song, right on top of this like synthy indie rock song. It's super sick. I love this. I've become quite a pretty big fan of Single Mothers since you pointed them out to me too. So yeah, the Stoves are sick too. We've talked about them. So like, yeah, this is like, man, what a just powerhouse writer.
Mm-hmm.
The boys in Over It. They put out their EP. You know that because again, you watched the episode, right? Obviously, you watched the episode. This kind of sounds like a floor recording, which I guess, like from what we understand now, that's like half the case.
Yeah.
Yeah. Obviously, this is the homies, Austin and Devin.
Well, this was an absolutely disgusting, raw, blasting, powerful sound pollution of a record. Like in no fucks given. Like in no way am I saying that is a dig. Like this was like raw, like just destructive. Like if music could destroy foundations and cement walls, this is the music that would be played out of it. And like it was, I don't know, it was super cool. It was recorded in the filthy depths of the Chub Tub by Jake. This 11-minute EP just goes hard. It's power violence. It's just bands like, you know, Despise You, Coke Bust, and like Early Ceremony come to mind. Chaos, front to back to front. Doesn't matter how you wipe. Love the producer take at the very end. I love power violence. It's one of my favorite parts of hardcore. It's just like I just don't see enough of it coming out of, like we see a lot of typical, and there's again, I love hardcore. I just like to see more power violence coming out, and you see more hardcore that's more traditional or like beat down or street style kind of coming out of Ontario. So yeah, Niagara's got this power violence band Over It. It is amazing, and thank you for watching the episode.
Oh, we have another band.
No, I meant thank you for watching the Over It episode.
Good. I can't wait to leave this in and make myself look stupid. So this is what I was gonna say. Speaking of power violence, Brampton power violence band, in my humble opinion, Lice. What a great name.
Yeah.
They put out an EP. This is like, it sounds like 8-bit. It's so crunchy. Like it's like so crunchy sounding. It's ferocious sounding. The vocalist sounds totally unhinged. Like it's like so heavy. It's so just like thick and fuzzy. It sounds like you're like in a swarm of locusts. Like it's insane. It sounds like you're covered in bugs. Lice. Like,
Nice. Yeah, this you know, in an age where you hear like polished basement and bedroom records, Lice barges on the scene unapologetically with like a raw force behind this production. Like it feels like all of the dials on the mixing board are cranked to the 10. Like everything is just like
it's just peaking.
Like I love the barking and no compromise. Simmer is just like this chaos wrapped in like there's like only like 30 minutes of the song, or sorry, 30 seconds of that song with like like I don't know, like there's some like voice clips at the very begin to like round it out at like a minute, but honestly it's just like chaos in 30 seconds. Bands like Rock Bottom. I was getting more like Rock Bottom. I don't know if you remember them. Naysayer.
Oh my god, Satan.
Yeah. And like Suburban Scum. Like yeah, no, Ty, I gotta say, I've got the itch. The itch for Lice. No, seriously, I think I have Lice.
Oh no, you should get that checked out. And also, just before we end this little segment, just quick shout out to the boys in Just Right. They put out their song Welcome to Hell. We did a react. It's either up on the channel or it's coming on the channel. You know how it go. And the boys in the Northern have put out their track Usurper. They have a video for it, so guess what we did? We are filming a reaction to that. Eyes peeled. Thank you.
Cool.